And now a man who needs no introduction. The great, handsome and charming YouTuber, Buzz1151.
Well, thanks for that introduction. Well, here's old Buzz back again with a new project.
Good.
On my last video, I asked my viewers to contact me if they had a radio that they had lying around and wanted old Buzz to restore. So thanks out there to all who responded. There was some good radios out there being offered up, but I decided on this one. But this particular viewer had a radio that he offered for restore, and it piqued my interest.
Well, hello.
So here it is, all the way from Florida.
What now? What is it?
So let's get this unboxed on camera here. Hopefully it's not damaged. So let's get to it.
What is this?
Now he double boxed it, so hopefully it's in good shape.
Get that box open.
Let's just turn it around and get it out of there.
Well, now, Sonny, that box is done up right pretty, ain't it?
It's packed very good. I like these corners that he used.
Thanks.
Oh, what's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
Now I always wanted to work on one of these radios, but never had the opportunity. Let's get our first peek at this, shall we?
Please hurry up.
Here's a knob.
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
Got some screws came loose. As you can see, it's a tombstone radio. Let's stand it up and turn it around so you can take a look at it.
Oh, brother.
That don't look good, does it?
You wrecked it!
What a bonehead.
I'm gonna have to fix all this. Be careful, Buzz. Let's get a close-up of that. This is a mid-30s Atwater Kent. I believe this is one of the last batches that Atwater Kent made in the mid-30s before going out of business.
Now, let's see here.
This is over 18 inches high,
Well, now let's see.
about 14 inches wide.
Oh, it's just gorgeous.
Beautiful radio, huh?
Oh yes, very nice.
This cabinet's going to take a lot of work just to fix it up. Probably before it was shipped, I don't think it was this broken. Look at that cracked in transit here. That's a shame.
You broke it, you fix it.
Looks to be all there. There's no model sticker here on the chassis. I do see a sticker up here. Doesn't look like there's a model number on this sticker here. You can see where it broke off here. There's the bottom of it. Looks like there's 2 screws missing. We'll take these 2 screws out. We'll pull the chassis out and take a look at it.
The chassis.
Looks like the speaker is hardwired here. There's no socket there. I'll have to loosen these nuts here and get the speaker off. Got 3 holes in it. At least he can't blame that on me. Think some bugs ate that? Could be. It's got a little tear here. Other than that, it looks in pretty good shape. take a look at the chassis first, and then after that we'll see how much that's damaged. Got a nice dial here. Thank God that didn't get damaged.
Amen. Praise the Lord.
I think it's rusted stuck.
Oh dear.
Alright, I haven't peeked, so we'll look at the bottom here. There we go. Anybody got a heart condition, turn the video off. This might be ugly. Here we go.
Oh, boy.
Well, not too bad. Here's the electrolytics. These look like 50s type capacitors here. There's a solar cap there. There's another one here. Now these are probably replacements. But it doesn't look like this has been messed with too much.
Not bad.
That's part of the band selector. It doesn't look too bad. I've seen a lot worse. At least there's no rat living in it. Looks like it's got that rubber wire that disintegrates. So it's going to have to be completely rewired. Let's hope these coils are okay. There's the speaker wires. You think this originally had a plug in it and somebody just lost the plug and then just stuck the wires in there?
Yep.
I don't know. Take a look at that. That's exactly what happened. They just fed the wire through there and soldered it in there.
It's quality work.
Kind of crummy job, too. Looks like this is a capacitor here. Oh! This is the wire on a capacitor that's been clipped. So we're going to have to sort this out before we put power to this. Make sure the speaker field coil and the output transformer is working. The power transformer is working. We're going to check continuity. I'm pretty sure once we get everything squared away, plug it in, I think it might work. First thing I'm going to do is take this outside and blow off that dirt. And this tuning mechanism doesn't look too good. Does that look bent?
Oh, dummies.
That moves it. Well, the gears work somewhat. It's very stiff. Oh! I took this wheel off. That's in pretty rough shape. Take a look at that.
Oh, that's bad.
Anyway, I took it off because, see, this plate is bent.
Oh dear.
It's bent out.
That's not good.
You can see the gap here, between here and here. I've been trying to figure out how this tuning thing works. I think this is like uses a fine adjustment and a coarse adjustment. And this thing's supposed to move up and down, sort of like that. I don't know which way, if it goes down is the coarse or the fine, but it goes up and down like that. But that thing is just
Stuck?
it's it's rusted. This gear here meshes with this gear here to turn it. And if you look down in here, there's another gear that turns. So one of these is a coarse adjustment, one of them is a fine adjustment, depending on which position this thing is in. But man,
Come on, man.
this thing has got to be taken apart and lubricated to get this thing to work right. I think this is going to give me a lot of problems.
I agree with that profoundly.
I've got to get that mechanism to work or else.
Or else what?
Okay, right now we're going to check the continuity of the high voltage windings on the transformer. So that's pins 4 and 6 on the rectifier tube.
Look here. Now what's the point of this?
Should get a reading here. That's 458 ohms.
Bingo.
Now there's a center tap. Let's check the center tap. And that should be half of 458. Half of that should be what this is. 241. So the high voltage windings are okay. Let's check the 5 volt windings on the rectifier tube. Should be pins 2 and 8.
What's this technique?
I've got 8 hooked up. Here's pin 2. Should get some type of continuity. 1.4 ohms. So that's looking good. So check the 6.3 volts. I'm just going to check the socket here. Should be pins 2 and 7. There's pins 2 there hooked up. Where's 7? I think it's here.
My.
Okay, 1.3 ohms, that's probably good. Okay, let's see if we can find the field coil or the output transformer. The output transformer would be here, and the field coil is here. So one of these wires, we'll go to one of them. Let's try this one here. Now on the schematic, it says the output transformer is 500 ohms and the field coil is 1100 ohms. So either one of those will work. Oh, there we go. 0.5K, so it's 500 ohms. One of these other ones should be the field coil. So we should be able to pick it up from one of these other wires. And we're not getting squat here. Let's try the voice coil. Should be 1 ohm. Voice coil is measuring about 2.4. This is not that accurate, so schematic says 1 ohm.
That's close enough, Jim. Good work.
So the voice coil is good. This field coil is bad.
Crap.
We're going to have to take this apart and take a look at it. I once had to rewind a field coil using my buzz winder. You remember that one?
Yes, boss.
Let's just remove this center screw here. So I think I can get that out.
Take it off.
Perhaps you should read the instructions first.
Let's see what happens when I lift this up.
Bingo.
There's the iron core there. It looks like this is some type of a hum coil. I don't know. Let's measure the field coil from here. Yeah, it's open.
Well, I'll be damned.
Rats. Maybe I just reflow this. It might make a connection. Let's just give it a try. I bought me a new soldering gun.
It's about bloody time.
A Weller. My other one was having problems. Had the other one since I was like 20. So I had it like 50 years.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Let's see if that did anything. I didn't think so. Gotta dig. Looks like there's one in there, still attached. I don't see nothing on the other end. Unless it comes over here.
Richard, give it up!
I'll have to look at it under magnification. I found the end. Here's the inside end. And here's the other one. Nothing. So I'm not going to mess with this anymore. I know how to wind one of these, and I'm going to wind one.
Hell yeah!
Okay, last time I did this, I weighed the whole coil. Let's just weigh it. It's going to weigh it in grams. 388 grams. So I just need to wind that, take this wire off, get some new wire, and wind it. Let's get out the buzz winder.
Yes!
Here's what 380 grams of wire looks like. I took off that spool. Funny, huh? Well, here's my world famous buzz winder. And you haven't seen this in about 4 or 5 years. This was the winder I used to wind that field coil for the Westinghouse radio. Guess it must be 5 years ago. Now I measured the wire on the field coil, 34 gauge. So the way this works is, got my 52-year-old drill I had since I was 18. It goes here. I'll hook that up later. It locks in place with this. And I'm going to use the Variac to vary the voltage going into it. Since this is only a single speed drill, I'll use this. If I want slow, I'll just put it on lower volts. If I want higher, I'll put it up higher volts. Let me hook that up and I'll show you. Okay, the goal is to get 388 grams of this wire on here. When this thing looks like it's all filled up, I'm going to take it off and weigh it. If I have to add, I'll add. If I have to take off, I'll take off. So let's just start it here.
This really is exciting for me.
Just want to tape this end off.
Well, this is getting exciting.
Oh, how very thrilling.
So I'll go to the Variac here, turn it on. And there we go. There's the first layer of it on there. I figured it's going to take over an hour, maybe an hour and a half. I'm going to take my time, not let it go too fast. Let's just continue doing it.
I was standing by the window on one cold and cloudy day, and I saw the hearse come rolling for to carry my mother away. Oh, can the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a bitter home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Lord, I told thee, Undertaker, Undertaker, please drive slow. For this body you are hauling, Lord, I hate to see her go. Can the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a bitter home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. I followed close behind her, tried to hold up and be brave, but I could not hide my sorrow when they laid her in the grave. And the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by. There's a bitter home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Went back home, Lord, my home was lonesome. Missed my mother, she was gone. All my brothers, sisters crying, what a home so sad and lone. Can the circle be unbroken by and by, Lord, by and by? There's a bitter home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky.
Well, we're getting there. I'd rather wind more wire on there than less. So I think I'll just go almost all the way up to the end of the hub here. So the next time you see this, it'll have all the wire on there and we can weigh it. Okay, we're gonna weigh it now. Okay, let's see how close I am. We want 388. Wow, that's good. 436. What I think I'll do now is I'll measure it in ohms and see what we got. Looking for 1100. Whoa, 2.1K. So I'm actually 1,000 over. How did that happen? I'm just gonna wind some of this wire, excess wire, on this portion here. You see how much I took off here? 392. And I did have 388, so I'm going to leave that as is. I'm going to check the ohms on here. Now it's going to reduce it, but it's not going to reduce it by 1,000 ohms. So whatever this measures, I'm going to go ahead and use that and we'll test it.
Well, isn't that extra special?
And 1900 ohms. So schematic says 1100, it's 19. 800 ohms over. Will that make a difference? I don't know. It's just creating a magnetic field on that iron core there. So maybe it's not that critical. Anyway, we'll find out. Well, here's my field coil. I used a couple of copper strips. Soldered the wires on here and these other ones here.
I like it.
I need to reassemble this whole thing, but I took this apart. Took apart the comb because I wanted to look at this.
Yeah.
This looks like it's all rusted, so I guess they're going to have to fix that rust and reassemble it. There's that wire. Since it got the field coil wound, I thought I'd use this little tester here. We'll check the ohms and inductance. Okay, it's saying it's 1902 ohms, 4180 millihenries. I just thought I'd take that measurement for posterity there.
Oh, brother.
Okay, I'm ready to put this back together. Here's the speaker frame. Put a coat of clear on it after I polished it up.
Cool.
This goes over here, over there. Put some new wires here. Here's the hum coil. I'm using the same wires, but I just crunched up all that crappy insulation and put some heat shrink on it. Fix those 3 holes in the speaker.
Looks like you've really got your hands full.
So I just got to hook up the voice coil and the other wires here and some over here. Once I got all this done, we can test the radio. Whoa, Nelly. That should be exciting. Well, there it is. Spent all day Saturday getting this done. I must say it turned out pretty good.
He's too modest.
I got this rewired and the wires look pretty neat there, huh?
You're too modest.
I put a cover on here so I won't stick my finger in here after I fixed it. Nice new wires.
Not bad.
I sure hope this works, but we won't know until we hook it up to the radio. Well, I spent all day Sunday looking at the schematic and checking out the components on this radio here. All these paper caps you see here.
What about it?
Now, these were pathetic. Most of them didn't show any life, and most of them measured like a resistor. So there's no way I could have powered this radio up with these in there and had it work. I even found a resistor that was open. I replaced the electrolytics here. I even checked the light bulbs. There was one bulb blown out. So now it's got 2 good bulbs in there. I just tacked in all these capacitors you see here. They're just tacked in there because I'm going to have to completely rewire this whole radio. The whole thing.
That whole thing.
Because of the crumbling wire, it's got to be done. Well, there's certainly excitement in the air. Now, if you're asking me what the odds are that this is going to work, I don't know. I've got to say it's less than 50% because I got a double whammy here. I've got the speaker that was broken. I wound that coil.
Yes, you did.
Got a radio here that got all this rotten wire, and it could short out anywhere to ground. So there's only one way to find out is just to power it on. So everything's hot. Let's just go up to 30 volts. Keep an eye out on the amp meter here. Went up a little bit and went down. Looks good so far. Go to 60. Now these meters, one of them is hooked up to the first electrolytic, and the second one is the other electrolytic. Hey, I hear something from the speaker. It's making some noise. Come on, baby, work. Let's go up to about 80. I hear static.
Yes! Yes, yes, yes! Brilliant! There it is! Oh, wow.
I've got the antenna hooked up to it. Let's bring it up to about 90. No matter how many times you do this, when you get something out of the speaker, it's always a great feeling. What I'm going to do here is, I can't tune this because this tuning thing's all screwed up, so I'm going to have to move that by hand. So let me turn it back up. Let's see if we can pick up anything.
Is essential as a scientist as it evolves. And that's the reason why I say people who then criticize me about that are actually criticizing science. The people who are
You're drawing about half amp.
Then he said mass. Well, let me give you a flash. That's the way science works. You work with the data you have at the time. I don't buy it. A flash.
Feel the coil is cold. I'll be right back with the recap. Well, that concludes this first part. With all the problems I had at the start, I gotta say I'm very pleased that we now have a working speaker and that the radio plays. But there's a lot more to do. I think in part 2, we'll look at the cabinet and maybe start putting it back together. And then I have to completely rewire this beast and somehow fix that tuning mechanism. I want to thank Rich for sending this radio. I'm going to get this radio working like it's 1935 again. So thanks everybody for watching. Stay tuned for Dickel's Corner next. This is your humble servant, Old Buzz 1151. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Herr Doctor.
Good night, Wilma.
Hi, folks. Dickel F. Lockett here. If you like those old 8mm films made by Buzz, then stick around. If you can't stand them, well, hasta la vista, baby. Today's film is a bizarre comedy with Buzz playing a motley crew of weirdos. This was made in 1968 and filmed in glorious black and white. Time has not been kind to this film as it's in rough condition, but thankfully it still exists. Originally shot as a silent film, it was dubbed with sound and music in 1970 and recently updated again. So let's take a gander at it, shall we? Afterwards, if you think it sucks, blame Buzz, not me. Take it away, young Buzz. And a 1 and a 2. Here we go.
Coming for the Academy Hall.
I was his favorite nephew. I hear he was loaded. I wonder what he left me.
I miss him so.
I want his money. I'm glad he's dead.
Show some respect, Big Nose.
May he rest in peace.
Look, that's the lawyer.
I am Jeremiah McCready, executor of the estate of your late Uncle Thomas Twilly.
Shut up and read the will.
To my nephew William, I leave my underpants that I have worn the past 20 years.
Why don't you put them on?
Wear them in good health.
Your undies.
Ew.
It stinks.
To my nephew James, also known as Big Nose, I leave a roll of money. A roll of money printed on toilet paper.
What is this? Is this a joke? Toilet paper? Rotten hell, you cheap bastard.
To my nephew Jacob, I leave the sum of $1. Spend it wisely.
Why, I ought to dig you up and work you over, you cheapskate.
To my nephew Ezekiel, the dumbest nephew of them all, I leave a book.
Huh? What? Oh, Julius Caesar. Et tu, uncle? I'm not dumb. I'm smart.
Rest in peace.
What was that?